Can't you stay here? I don't want you to go there, he pouted. Jungkook, babe, it's just for 2 days. After the work is done, I will quickly come here, okay? He said while caressing his cheeks. Taehyung sighed and gave him his blazer. Jungkook noticed that he was sad. He pulled Taehyung towards him and hugged him. Taehyung looked at him. He had tears in his eyes. Jungkook saw that. He wiped it. Jungkook, why are you crying? I am just going for 2 days. I will finish my work as soon as possible and come here quickly. And also, Mama will be there for you so you won't feel lonely. Jungkook kissed him. After some time, they both went downstairs. They went towards his car. They hugged him and pecked his lips. Then, I will miss you. Jungkook again hugged him and patted his back and said, Jungkook, I will miss you too. And don't cry when I am not here, okay? If I go to how you cried, I won't talk to you. They let out a small chuckle. Jungkook pecked his forehead and went from them. They went inside of their house and sat on the couch while thinking about what will happen when his mother-in-law come here. He was nervous and scared at the same time. Taehyung and Jungkook are married for 7 months. After dating for 3 years, they decided to marry each other. Taehyung is an orphan and Jungkook is a well-known businessman in their country. Jungkook is 25 years old and Taehyung was 24. They both loved each other very much. First, Jungkook's parents didn't like Taehyung. They told that Taehyung is a gold digger, but Taehyung proved them wrong. Jungkook's dad started liking Taehyung, but his mother never liked him. She never tried to understand him. She always wanted Jungkook to marry her friend's daughter. They were very rich. Miss Jeon didn't like Taehyung because he wasn't rich as them. Also, he didn't have parents. She never wanted Taehyung to be her son-in-law. She started treating him like her own son. Just in front of Jungkook and his dad, they thought that she really cared for him. But when they are alone, she treated him like a slave. She always gave him works to do. If he didn't do it perfectly, she will slap him or hurt him by words. And also, she threatened him not to say anything to them. He was really scared of her. That's why he didn't want Jungkook to go from them. Jungkook and his dad didn't know what was happening though when they are not home. Taehyung was really sensitive. He easily cried when she shouted at him. He was really depressed, but he didn't let Jungkook know about it. He was scared. He didn't know what she will do to him. Taehyung was in his thought, but came to reality when he heard the doorbell rings. His heart started beating fast. He didn't want to get shouted from her, so he immediately went to open the door. When she opened the door, he saw her standing there while holding 2 suitcases. She pushed him aside and went inside. He took the suitcase and went to the guest room and placed it there. Then he went to her and asked her, Mom, what would you like to have? Water, juice, or tea? She looked at him and said, Bring me a cup of coffee. He nodded and went to make a coffee for her. After some time, he gave her the coffee. He was still standing there while looking down. She tasted the coffee. She immediately spit the coffee. Then she glared at Taehyung. He was looking down while waiting for her to shout. But instead of shouting, she poured the hot coffee onto him. It was really hot. He hissed when the hot coffee touched his body. His tears started flowing, but still he didn't move a bit from there because he didn't want her to make more angry. His hands were paining. Miss Jeon, can't you make a simple coffee without any mistakes, huh? I wonder, why did my son choose a trash like you? Now get lost from in front of my eyes. He immediately went to his room. He locked the door and started crying silently. His hands were really paining. He treated his burned hand, but still the pain didn't go. His tears were not stopping. He just wanted his husband's warmth now. He already missed him. He don't know how to live these 2 days with his mother-in-law. He laid on the bed trying to sleep. Then his phone started ringing. He looked at the ID and it was Jungkook. He wiped his tears and attended the call. Jungkook, hi babe, babe, were you crying? Why is your eyes red? And what happened to your hand? He was asking questions non-stoply. Taeyang smiled seeing his husband worried for him. He feels so lucky to have him. Jungkook, babe, say something. What happened to your hand? It's nothing, babe. The hot water fell from my hands, and there is nothing to worry. I'm okay. Jungkook, why are you so careless, huh? Don't hurt yourself, okay? I am not there to treat you. Be careful. Then, don't worry, Cook. It's not big. I'm okay. Then they talked for some time and ended the call. He was about to go, but he felt pain in his head. He took a painkiller and went downstairs. He looked everywhere to see if Miss John is here. For his luck, she wasn't there, so he immediately went to kitchen to make lunch for them. While preparing food, he again felt pain in his head, and his stomach was also paining. He didn't mind the pain and continued preparing food. Time skips. They ate their lunch and now Taeyang was on his room. He was watching some videos on YouTube. While watching, he covered his mouth with his hand and ran to the bathroom. He threw up all the food that he ate earlier. He felt too weak to stand up. With the help of water, he washed his mouth and went to bed. He laid on the bed. Within seconds, he fell asleep as he was so tired. Time skips. It was night. He was about to call Jungkook, but he again felt like throwing up. So he ran to the bathroom and threw up. With the help of water, he stood up and looked at the mirror. He was confused. He decided to do a test to know if he is pregnant or not. He took a pregnancy test. He had already bought it if in case he needed to use it. He was looking at the test. He was nervous. He closed his eyes for some time and calmed him down. He took a deep breath and took the pregnancy test in his hand. He looked at it. He froze at his place. It had 2 lines. His happy tears started flowing. He was so happy. He placed his hands on his belly and caressed it. Then, oh, my baby, let's give a surprise to Appa when he come home. Then he went out from the room and dialed Jungkook's number. After 2 rings, he took the call. There, Cook, he said happily. Jungkook, hi babe. What happened today? You look so happy. It was a video call. Then, Cook, are you coming tomorrow or day after tomorrow? Jungkook, our work is almost done, so I will come there tomorrow evening. But why? Taehyun, come quickly. I have a surprise for you. Jungkook, surprise? What is it? Then, it's a surprise, so I can't tell you. Okay. Now tell me, how are you? Did you eat your dinner? They talked for a long time. After some time, they ended the call and went to sleep. Taehyun was so excited to tell him about his pregnancy. Jungkook was also excited to see his surprise. Then they both slept. Taehyun woke up when sunlight hit on his face. He lazily stood up and went to the bathroom to do his morning routine. Then he went downstairs to make breakfast for them. Miss John was sitting on the couch. He wished her good morning and was about to go to the kitchen, but she tripped him. He was about to fall, but for his luck, he got a grip on his hand. His hands were on his belly. He wanted to shout at her, but he was scared. What if she do something to him and it will affect the baby? So he looked at her and sighed and went from there. After some time, now he was setting the table. While setting the table, Miss John came and started ordering him to do things. Taehyung didn't like it. He was getting angry, but he controlled it because he didn't want to start any arguments. As always, Miss John started complaining about foods. Miss John, what kind of food is this, huh? Don't you know how to make foods? My poor son. I wonder how he ate these foods. If he had married Mina, at least he could have eaten tasty foods. Taehyung didn't say anything. He just sat there. He controlled himself from crying in front of his mother-in-law. He immediately finished eating and went to the kitchen. He let out his tears that he was holding earlier. He hated himself for being weak in front of her. He hated himself for being scared of her. He immediately wiped his tears and washed his plates and went to his room. He took his phone and opened the gallery. He smiled looking at their photos, and it was the only way to calm him down now. Time skips. Taehyung was sitting on the couch while waiting for Jungkook. Jungkook had called him to say that he will arrive there soon. Taehyung had already decorated their room. While waiting for him, Miss Jung came there with her luggage. Taehyung looked at her in confusion and asked, Taehyung, Mom, are you leaving? Miss Jung, yes. Do you have any problem? Taehyung, no. It's just Jungkook will come here soon. So, Miss Jung, just tell him that I had some important things to do, so I had to leave early. Taehyung nodded and she went from there. Her driver came there to pick her up. He looked at the car which was fading from his sight. Taehyung sighed in relief. He was about to close the door, but he saw Jungkook's car coming. He smiled widely. His car stopped in front of their house. Jungkook opened the door and he was welcomed by a prompt crashing hug. Jungkook chuckled and hugged him back. Then wrapped his legs around his waist. Jungkook raised his back. He tried to break the hug, but Taehyung wasn't in the mood to break the hug. He smiled and indicated the guards to bring his luggage instead. Then he carried Taehyung to the living room, holding him securely. Jungkook sat on the couch, still holding him in his embrace. Taehyung snuggled more into his neck. After some time, Taehyung broke the hug and looked at him with his doe eyes. He was looking so cute. Jungkook immediately kissed him. He also kissed him back. Taehyung wrapped his hands around his neck and Jungkook's hands were on his waist. They kissed for some time, telling each other how much they missed their presence. After some time, they broke the kiss and looked at each other with so much love. They both were breathing heavily. Jungkook cupped his face and said, Jungkook, I miss you so much. Taehyung smiled. I miss you more than you can imagine. Jungkook, how was your day with your mom? Taehyung fake smiled and said, it was great. She always took care of me. Jaepo, only if I could say those were the worst days in my life. Jungkook, that's great. By the way, you said I have a surprise, right? Where's my surprise? I almost forget about that. Now come with me. Taehyung held his hand and walked towards their room. Now they are standing in front of the door of their room. Taehyung took a deep breath and said, Cook, are you ready for your surprise? Jungkook nodded multiple times. Taehyung chuckled seeing Jungkook this much excited. Then Taehyung slowly opened the door. Jungkook saw a gift box in their bed. Jungkook made his way to their bedroom. He was very excited and nervous too. Then he looked at Taehyung, who was smiling at him, and looked back at the box. Then he slowly opened the box and he started reading it. After reading it, his tears started flowing. Taehyung saw it and immediately went to him and hugged him. Taehyung, what happened, babe? Didn't you like my surprise? Jungkook hugged him tightly and said, Jungkook, it was the best present I have ever got. His happy tears were still flowing. I can't believe that we are going to be parents. I'm so happy. He kissed Taehyung all over his face. They giggled. Jungkook then pecked his lips and bent down. He pulled his shirt up and kissed his tummy multiple times. Taehyung caressed his hair, watching him with lovely eyes. His lips curved into a small smile while watching his husband talk into his unborn baby. He was just staring at him. Then Jungkook stood up and cupped his face. Jungkook, did you tell your pregnancy to anyone? No, I wanted to tell you first. Jungkook, so I am going to announce this wonderful news to everyone. So we are arranging a party in this week. Do you have any problem with that? Taehyung, I am happy as long as you are happy. Jungkook smiled and gave a long peck on his forehead, then closed his eyes, feeling his husband's touch. Then Jungkook pecked his eyes, which were closed, then his cheeks, nose, and lastly his soft lips. Both of them were so happy. Jungkook was showering him with his love, which was more than enough for him to be happy. Now Jungkook was showering and Taehyung was selecting movie. After selecting movie, Taehyung went down to make popcorn. Their house was full of silence and he liked this silence. He started making popcorn while humming his favorite song. He flinched when a muscular arm wrapped around his waist. He already knew who it was. Taehyung placed his hands on Jungkook's and his head on his shoulder and looked at him. After staring for some time, Jungkook kissed him. They also kissed him back. Jungkook pinned him on the wall and continued kissing. After some minutes, they both kissed and attached their forehead. Jungkook, I love you, baby. Taehyung, I love you more, Kook. Then they heard a ding sound from oven indicating the popcorn is ready. Taehyung slowly pushed Jungkook aside and went to take the popcorn. Then they both were ready to go to their room, but Jungkook picked him bridal style and went to their room. Taehyung didn't say anything, just let him do whatever he wanted. At the end, that night went like that, cuddling, watching movies, kissing, pecks, etc. But little did they know something horrible was going to happen. 1 week later, Jungkook and Taehyung was getting ready. Today was the day they are going to reveal their little secret to the world. They were so excited. Jungkook, babe, are you ready? He said while holding Taehyung's hands. Taehyung was nervous because his mind was saying that something bad is going to happen. He was little disturbed about that. Taehyung, I don't know, Kook. I am feeling like something bad is going to happen, and I am very nervous about that. Jungkook squeezed his hands little and said, don't worry, babe. Nothing is going to happen. I am going to protect you and my little bean, he said while placing his hands on his belly. No matter what, I won't let anything happen to my babies. Taehyung smiled and pecked his lips. Taehyung, I know you are going to protect us. I am sure that you are going to be the best dad for our baby. Jungkook hugged him and kissed him, but someone was hearing their talk while boiling in anger, and it was none other than Mrs. John. Mrs. John, no, it can't be happen. I won't let that happen. I have to get rid of that baby. Then Jungkook will marry Mina. She smirked while thinking about her plan. Then she went from there. They got out of their room and was about to go down. But Taehyung stopped him and said, Kook, I have to pee. Wait for me here, okay? Jungkook, okay, should I come with you? Taehyung, no, Kook, I can manage. Then Taehyung went from there. Jungkook was waiting for Taehyung, but someone called him from downstairs and he went there. Taehyung, go. I got out from bathroom and went towards the stairs, but I didn't find Jungkook there. Maybe someone called him, I thought. I was about to go, but stopped when someone started talking, Mrs. John, so I finally got to see you alone. 𝐤𝐭𝐚 got scared by her tone. It wasn't like usual. Usually she sounded like rude and cold, but this time it was different. She sounded like some psycho or something. 𝐤𝐭𝐚 placed his hands on his belly, being scared. She started coming closer into him. He started backing away. While backing, he lost his balance and was about to fall. Luckily, he got grip on something. He sighed in relief. His heart was beating so fast. 𝐤𝐭𝐚, what are you doing? He stuttered. Mrs. John, you know that I don't like you, so I don't want any grandchildren from you. So I have to get rid of your baby. She chuckled heavily. 𝐤𝐭𝐚 got really scared. Before 𝐤𝐭𝐚 can do anything, she pushed him from the stairs.